Warning examples for our day. That is the drama you're about to see. Warning examples are what the Apostle Paul speaks about in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10. He refers to events that happened some 3,500 years ago. Then he makes an urgent appeal to all Christians. He says that such examples were written for a warning to us, upon whom the ends of the systems of things have arrived. Some of the events spoken about by Paul are recorded in Numbers chapter 25. This drama brings them to life before your very eyes. You see, many in Israel failed a vital test just before entering the Promised Land. Now we today, in effect, are on the border of inheriting our future promises. What lessons can we learn from these ancient examples? Pay close attention as the drama unfolds, and then we'll take a few moments to discuss 4 areas of life that we must give serious attention to today if we are to enjoy God's favor.
May you have peace. My name is Jamin. For 60 years I have lived here in the Promised Land. I was born in the wilderness during the days of Moses, during the 40 years of wandering. Honestly, there were times when I wondered if we would ever dwell in this beautiful land that Jehovah had promised to Abraham. How grateful I am to have experienced the fulfillment of God's promises. But I almost didn't make it. There were trials in the wilderness, but for me, the hardest time was just before we crossed the Jordan to take possession of this land. We were on the plains of Moab. The Moabites and the Midianites were afraid of our nation. So they hired a prophet named Balaam to curse Israel. You probably know the story. Jehovah turned Balaam's curse into a blessing. But Balaam was a shrewd man. Although he realized that Jehovah would not allow any nation to destroy us, he also knew that we could bring destruction upon ourselves if we lost Jehovah's favor. So he proposed a plan to lead us into unfaithfulness. At the time, we had no idea what they were scheming. Yet, I well remember how close I came to being caught up in a situation that brought so many to ruin. The memory is so clear, even though it was 60 years ago. I was only in my 20s at the time.
Flee in terror, you Canaanite armies.
Watch out, you're not the one who flees when you see a real Canaanite, Zabdi.
That'll never happen, Bila. All the enemies of Israel will fall before us.
That's right.
Jamin, what do you think about the women?
What women?
The Moabite women? You've heard about them.
Well, I've heard some women have been approaching our camp during the past few evenings, but I haven't seen them.
Well, we haven't either, but there are interesting rumors.
Tell me, what have you heard?
Well, that they're beautiful, that's what. They're not like our wilderness women. These women are more sophisticated, and I hear they're very friendly.
Why do you suppose they come to our camp while their men stay away?
Oh, Jamin, that question shows how little you know about women. The reason's obvious. Everyone's heard how we defeated the Amorites, whose forces were far superior to our own. Sihon and Og were powerful kings, yet we easily defeated them. The Canaanites are terrified of us. As I see it, these women are curious. They're interested in real men. Strong, courageous, valiant. And here we are.
Was Abdai? It was Jehovah who gave us the victory.
Maybe so, but we're the ones who did the fighting. We're invincible. Look, here comes your cousin Zimri. They say he's talked to the foreign women.
May you have peace, my brother.
Zimri,
Peace, brother.
Hello, Zimri. We were just talking about the Moabite women. I've heard you've met them. Tell us about them.
So you're interested in our new neighbors. Tell me, what will you pay for this information?
Tell us everything, Zimri. We'll give you whatever you want. Our most valuable possession. I know. How about 2 cups of manna?
Keep your contemptible bread. What do you want to know?
Everything. What do they look like?
I'll tell you this much, my friends. If we are entering a land of milk and honey, this will be our first taste of the honey.
some in the camp say these women are up to no good.
Those who say such things are as blind as a camel in a dust storm. Moab is our sister nation. The Moabites are from the family of Abraham, just as we are. We can learn from them.
Tell us about the women.
But Zimri, they don't worship Jehovah.
Do they oppose our worship? No. They are a tolerant and reasonable people. They respect our nation, and they respect our religion. Shouldn't we be tolerant and reasonable in return? They've proven they want to help us. Haven't they given us bread and water when the other nations refused?
Actually, they sold it to us. That's business, not help.
Tell us about the women.
No matter. They have provided bread and water. It shows they wish us well. Maybe Jehovah wants us to work with them. We help them, and they help us. I tell you, if we reject their efforts to be friendly, we'll be the losers. You know, I've seen how they live.
What? You've been to their town? When? How?
Cosby took me. She's a Midianite woman. Her father's a very important man.
Wait a moment. You mean Midianite women are coming to the camp too?
The Moabites and the Midianites, they're friends.
You've been spending time with a Midianite woman?
What of it? Didn't Moses marry a Midianite woman, the daughter of Jethro, a Midianite priest?
Tell us about the Moabite town. What did you see?
I'll tell you this, my brothers. These people know how to live. They know how to enjoy life. They have food and wine and music and luxury. Oh, it's how I imagine our people must have lived in Egypt. No wonder our grandfathers despised manna, that disgusting bread we've had to eat every day of our lives. Why don't you come with me to the Moabites? See these things with your own eyes. They're hospitable people. They will welcome you.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. Haven't Phineas and the teachers of Israel
Don't talk to me about Phineas. Just because his father Eleazar is the new high priest, he thinks he can play the prince. We're a new generation, and I, for one, am not going to waste my life like our fathers have.
What do you mean?
I mean this. Our grandfathers listened to Moses and Aaron. What was the result? They left the luxury of Egypt for a life of a hardship in the wilderness. And in the wilderness, they died. Aaron is dead, and Moses is soon to follow. I want something better out of life. I want it now.
Me too.
So do I. Let's be good neighbors.
Wait a moment. Our forefathers rebelled against Jehovah. That's why they died in the wilderness. Zimri, do you think it's a good idea to get involved with these people who don't worship the true God?
Jamin, your head is filled with sand. How can someone as stupid as you be my cousin? Answer me this. Did Jehovah tell Moses he was driving out the Moabites before us?
Well, no.
Did he say he was driving out the Midianites?
I suppose not.
The peoples that were to be driven out are the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, and the...
I was so confused. What Zimri said about the Moabites seemed to make sense at the time.
To avoid. Not the Moabites, not the Midianites. You say that Phineas has been speaking against Moab? That intolerant fool. Go ask him this. If the Moabites are so wicked and so dangerous to be with, why did Jehovah specifically tell Moses we should not attack them? Put that to your good friend Phineas.
I don't know. Maybe you're right.
He seemed so self-assured, as though he had all the answers. But I was disturbed by his attitude. He was so bitter and opinionated. I knew that Zimri didn't really expect me to go to Phineas, but that's what I decided to do.
Here?
That was one of the best things I ever did. It probably saved my life.
Excuse me. Phineas? Could I speak with you?
Of course, young man. Please, sit down. What is your name?
I'm Jamin, of the tribe of Simeon.
Jamin. I'm happy to meet you. Is everything all right?
I'm all right, but a little bit confused. Since you're a priest, a teacher in Israel, I was wondering if you can help me.
What is it?
Well, I was wondering how you felt about the Moabites.
What do you mean?
I was thinking about why Jehovah told Moses we should not fight against them. Do you think God wants us to become their friends?
It's true that Jehovah told Moses that we're not to wage war against Moab, but he also explained why. And it's because God has determined that they will have an inheritance of land. We are not to take the land given to them. He didn't say anything about becoming their friends.
But is there anything wrong with that?
I think you know the answer to that, Jamin. Do they worship the true God?
No, they have their own gods.
Do they live by the high standards contained in the law given to our nation 40 years ago?
No.
Then what makes you think Jehovah would want us to be their friends?
Well, maybe we can learn from them. Maybe they can help us in some way. And maybe we can help them learn about Jehovah.
We'll have to wait and see how Jehovah directs matters, Jamin. However, when it comes to choosing who are going to become our friends, we need to be careful. It's true that Moab is not among the nations that we were directed to act against, yet the Moabites worship Baal, the same pagan god that the Canaanites worship. Jehovah has clearly warned us that if we seek the friendship of the peoples of this land, we risk becoming corrupted by their false worship.
And that will bring us Jehovah's disfavor. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You remember what was written in the tablets that Moses brought down from the mountain of God? God's own finger wrote the words, "You must never have any other gods against my face." For us to serve other gods would be to reject the very one who brought us out of Egypt, who made us into a nation, gave us righteous laws, and protected and fed us during these 40 years in the wilderness. How can the true God bless us if we become ensnared by the false, worthless gods of this land?
But if a person has strong faith in Jehovah, he won't be misled into false worship.
Think carefully about that, Jamin. Wouldn't you say my grandfather Aaron had strong faith?
Yes, of course. He was our high priest.
Aaron certainly had good reasons for having faith. He stood beside Moses and watched as Jehovah humbled the mighty Pharaoh and proved himself superior to the gods of Egypt. Aaron walked, even as I did, through the parted waters of the Red Sea. Yet, what happened not long after that? When Moses was in the mountain of God, the people, our own people, talked Aaron into making a golden calf. They began to celebrate and said that it was a festival to Jehovah. How ridiculous! They even bowed down before the calf idol. Many lost their lives because of God's displeasure.
I'm not sure I see your point.
My point is this, Jamin. If Aaron could be lured into false worship by our own people, people who witnessed Jehovah's miracles in Egypt, how much more so might we be lured into wrongdoing by those that have not come to know Jehovah at all? We must carefully guard against anyone who might endanger a relationship with Jehovah. Think about what is at stake here, Jamin. If we keep Jehovah's laws, our people will be blessed with a higher moral standard than any other nation. We now stand on the threshold of the land promised to our forefather Abraham. Soon we will take possession of it, a land flowing with milk and honey.
But wasn't Egypt a land of milk and honey? Milk and honey, along with cucumbers and watermelons, leeks, onions, and garlic? That's what some people have said. Do you remember, Phineas?
No, Jamin, believe me, Egypt was no land of promise. Some became dissatisfied with Jehovah's provisions and grumbled the life in Egypt was better. How quickly they forgot. We were slaves in Egypt. Life was terrible, filled with tyranny and oppression. The Egyptians were cruel taskmasters who forced us to make bricks for their endless building projects. When Moses suggested to Pharaoh that we go into the wilderness and sacrifice to Jehovah, Pharaoh oppressed us all the more. Not only did we have to make the same amount of bricks as before, but we also had to look for the straw in order to make them. It was an impossible demand.
What did you do?
We protested, of course, but they would only scream at us, "You're relaxing." I was only a boy, but I had to work along with everybody else. I remember one of my young friends. He was very weak. His name was Ahai. Our men could only watch helplessly. They knew that if they dare raise a hand against our oppressors, the punishment would be instant and brutal.
That must have been terrible.
Jamin, Jehovah has rescued us from that land. We are a free people now. He has given us his laws to guide us and to train us. Now we stand at the frontier of the promised land. Mighty nations will fight against us, but Jehovah will defeat them, just like he defeated Pharaoh and his mighty army at the Red Sea. However, Jamin, we must be careful to do all that Jehovah has instructed. If we reject God, he will reject us.
What Phineas said was right. I knew that. Still, I was very curious about the foreign women. Zimri had arranged to meet some of them at the edge of our camp. Sabdi and Bela were eager to go with him, so I went along just to see for myself.
Cosby, it's almost dark. Do you think the Israelite men will really be there?
I'm sure of it. Zimri will do whatever I ask. He's captive to my feminine charms.
Do you think we can persuade them to come to the festival tonight?
We have to. The rulers of Moab and Midian are counting on us. If we can get them to forget their foolish laws on sex, or involve them in our worship of Baal, then their God, Jehovah, will fight against them. He will destroy their entire nation, and our men won't have to lift a finger. Then, all that they have will be ours.
I've been told they have gold and silver and beautiful clothes. After those 10 plagues, the Egyptians were so afraid they gave the Israelites whatever they asked for.
Soon it will all be ours. If we're successful, we'll be given a generous share. What a victory this will be for Baal.
I still can't believe they have a law that says it's wrong to lie with a woman unless you're married to her.
How restrictive.
This will be an interesting challenge for us.
But not a difficult one. These men know nothing of the pleasures of life. From what Zimri tells me, they've only known one type of food all their lives.
Wasn't it something called manna?
Right. These men are so backward. Even a watermelon impresses them. They know nothing of wine, nothing about our music, and nothing about women. I tell you, my sisters, they are to us as children. Shh, I hear them coming now. Get ready. Zimri, my mighty one.
Well, hello.
Hello.
We're happy to see you.
We wish you peace.
Ladies, these are my friends, Zabdi, Jamin, and Bila. This is Cosby. I told you about her. She's an important woman among the Midianites, the daughter of the head of a clan.
And you are the son of a chieftain. Why, Zimri, your friends appear nearly as powerful as you are. No wonder the Canaanites tremble before you.
These are mighty men.
We hope your friends will join us at the festival tonight, Zimri. You are coming, aren't you? You promised.
Of course. My friends, let's all go together. Many of our brothers will be there.
Yes, do come. We will welcome you with good food, sweet wine, and great music.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
I'm ready. What about you, Jamin?
Well, I don't know.
My cousin, he's afraid of women.
I am not.
You're not afraid of me, are you, Jamin? See how soft I feel in your strong hands? I'm sure your Israelite women don't have hands as smooth as mine. We'll have a good time. Did your God not promise you the good things of this land? Let me be your guide. I'll personally take care of you and protect you from all danger.
It isn't that. How can I explain? I just don't want to displease my God, Jehovah.
Jehovah killed our grandfathers in the wilderness. Do you want to die there too? Just come with us, Jamin.
I don't like that, Zimri. Jehovah did not kill our grandfathers. They died because they were unfaithful.
Come with us, Jamin. The music has already begun. Leave the wilderness behind. Come. Let's have some wine together.
No, I can't.
What's wrong with you, Jamin?
Your friend is afraid of women.
He's a fool.
Forget about him. Let's be on our way.
Go eat your manna.
It was not easy to run away from that situation. The appeal of having a good time was strong. I was stung by the ridicule of the others. Nobody likes to feel like an outsider. When I got back to my tent, I prayed about the matter. I kept thinking about what Phinehas had said to me. Though I could hear the music of the Moabites at a distance, the more I prayed, the more I believed that I had done the right thing. The events that followed convinced me of that.
What happened? Everyone's crying. The camp is in turmoil.
There's good reason to cry. Jehovah's anger is blazing against these people.
But why?
The men have gone to the camp of the Moabites and they've had sexual relations with their daughters. They've even bowed down to their gods. What utter lack of appreciation for all the good Jehovah has done for us. The calamity we spoke about has come upon us.
But what can we do?
We must repent and beg for his forgiveness. I have just heard that Jehovah has given a command to Moses, and Moses has told the judges of Israel, each one of you kill his men who have an attachment with the Baal of Peor. How do you feel about this, Jamin?
I'll do whatever Jehovah says.
Good. We can only pray that Jehovah's mercy will not depart completely from Israel, and that somehow his wrath will be turned aside.
Look! Zimri is coming with a Midianite woman. He's bringing her into the camp of Israel. Look at Zimri. Has he no shame? It's as though he wants to taunt Jehovah.
Give me that spear. I will not tolerate this.
Phinehas killed Zimri and Cosbi with the lance, and Jehovah commended Phinehas for his tolerating no rivalry toward God. Although Jehovah did not exterminate our nation, some 24,000 did die on that occasion. I could easily have been among them. Thankfully, Jehovah was merciful. For me, there were many lessons. I learned how seriously wrong it is to worship other gods. I also learned the danger of becoming involved with those who do not love Jehovah. Zimri had allowed his heart to be corrupted by twisted reasoning. The counsel of Phinehas really helped me. Though my curiosity almost brought me to ruin, what he had said helped me to get away before it was too late. I thank Jehovah that I have lived to relate this story, even to my great-grandchildren. How grateful I am to have seen the fulfillment of Jehovah's promises.
The story you have just seen contains a clear warning for us today. As noted at the outset, the Apostle Paul said at 1 Corinthians 10:11, "Now these things went on befalling them as examples, and they were written for a warning to us, upon whom the ends of the systems of things have arrived. Paul adds in verse 12, "Let him that thinks he is standing beware that he does not fall." Hence, none of us should ever take for granted our precious relationship with Jehovah. Rather, we should remember that our faithfulness to God is being tested. How? Satan tries to influence us in subtle ways to disobey Jehovah and lose his favor. The drama highlighted how Israel's faithfulness was tested in 4 areas of life: attitude, associations, morals, and worship. First of all, some of the Israelites had developed a wrong attitude toward Jehovah himself. Do you remember how Zimri felt about the manna provided by Jehovah? He called it disgusting. But he should have known better. Earlier, when rebellious Israelites called the manna contemptible bread, the divine decision was immediate and severe. Today, the example of Zimri alerts us to never develop a complaining attitude toward God and his theocratic arrangements. Verse 9 reminds us not to put Jehovah to the test. Instead, may we strive to reflect contentment and promote peace. Such an attitude will result in God's approval. The second point has to do with our associations. Do you recall the conversation between Jamin and Phinehas about the Moabites? Jamin asked if there was anything wrong with befriending them. In turn, Phinehas asked if they worshiped the true God. The answer, of course, was no. Phinehas then explained that friendship with the Moabites was dangerous. It could lure the Israelites into wrongdoing and ruin their relationship with God. Before long, Phinehas' warning was proved right. The Israelites who ignored the danger of bad associations were induced to commit unfaithfulness toward Jehovah. Consequently, they lost their lives. Clearly, our associates influence us, for better or for worse. The Bible states that he that is walking with wise persons will become wise, but he that is having dealings with the stupid ones will fare badly. May this drama move us to choose our friends wisely. The third area of concern is morals. Bad association led Zimri and his companions to engage in serious sin. They started to have immoral relations with the daughters of Moab, provoking Jehovah's anger. And referring to this very incident, Paul warns, "Neither let us practice fornication as some of them committed fornication, only to fall 23,000 of them in one day." How sad it is that some of God's servants today still let themselves be lured into committing immorality. And what is often the start of such sin? In the drama, Jamin admitted that his curiosity nearly brought him to ruin. Yes, curiously viewing pornography or mingling with those who do not live by God's standards often is the first step leading towards serious wrongdoing. However, the drama showed how we can protect ourselves. When Jamin was tempted, his response was that he did not want to displease Jehovah. It is encouraging to see that as a whole, God's people today share Jamin's heartfelt desire. Now, as to the fourth and final point, the Israelites were tested as to the purity of their worship and many failed that test. When the Moabite women came calling the people to the sacrifices of their gods, says the Bible record, the people began to eat and to bow down to their gods. Because of this grave sin, Jehovah's anger blazed against them. How could they so blatantly betray Jehovah? Clearly they lacked appreciation for all that Jehovah had done in their behalf. Yes, heartfelt appreciation for Jehovah's goodness should impel us never to become idolaters. Granted, it is unlikely that we will ever turn to outright idol worship. We should be aware, though, of the more subtle forms of idolatry. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Colossians 3:5 that one could become an idolater by allowing his own selfish desires to distract him from whole-souled worship of Jehovah. May we be determined to avoid this danger by giving Jehovah our exclusive devotion. Now, the warning examples captured in this drama remind us that our faithfulness to God is being tested. Nevertheless, each one of us can maintain our faith in the 4 areas discussed. How? Our appeal to all true Christians is take to heart the lessons learned from the examples in God's Word. Strengthen your precious relationship with Jehovah, and in so doing, secure your place in God's future land of promise.